The measure of success for me early on in my business was being able to walk my child to school. I had given up family time, worked on my days off, worked night times, worked weekends. I realised I'd had 18 jobs in 20 years, and I thought, there's got to be something, there's got to be a theme here or some kind of pattern. This is not why I chose to have a daughter. This is not how I want to be spending my time.
What was the belief shift, do you think, in creating that change for yourself?
I think the belief shift.
So today I'm joined by Meg McCarroll from New Chapter Coaching. How you doing, Meg?
I'm great, Jim. How are you?
I am good. Meg works with women in career transformation, so really, really appropriate for the Freedom Architects and what we talk about on the podcast. Meg, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So I work with women who are mid-career, generally sort of 15, 20 years in the workforce already, who have just reached that point where they are searching for something else. Maybe it's more fulfillment, more flexibility. I've worked with women who are out of work as well as women who are looking for the next promotion, etc. But it's it's a great space to be.
Probably a lot of people listening in now feeling like they relate to that. So before you got into what you're doing now, tell us a little bit about where you were at. So, you were kind of in a similar position yourself when you created your own transformation. Well,
correct.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to enjoy a career for almost 20 years in marketing, sponsorship and events.
Yep.
And I loved it for a long time. And in 2017, I met my now husband and inherited 3 beautiful stepkids. And it changed the way I felt about my career. A few years later, I had my own child and I was still trying to do the same job that I'd always done. But I found that suddenly the late nights, the rushing towards deadlines, the travel, it just didn't work for where I was at in my career in my life at that time. And I started to get really burnt out, and I was just finding that I wasn't doing anything particularly well. I was spreading myself too thinly. I was exhausted. And I left without a plan. And at that time, I was really lost, Jim, and I really didn't know where to go, what to do. And I stumbled across a coach, and she and I did some work together, some unlocking of things. But the experience really left me wanting more. And I kind of had this light bulb moment that maybe I could do it better.
It's interesting because it's a similar journey for me.
Right.
So going through corporate, climbing the corporate ladder, most people following what everybody else is doing on the hamster wheel, and hitting that point of burnout, drugs, alcohol, partying, everything to just kind of blank out what's going on.
Yep.
But it was meeting a coach and chatting to someone that was doing the do, where it was like, hang on, I just want to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was interesting. So it's that kind of almost that concept of surrounding yourself with the people that you want to become. You kind of almost inadvertently presented yourself with your next career move.
Yes. And I think for me, in deciding to become a coach, I wanted to be the kind of coach that I wish had shown up for me when I needed it. So for me, the work that I do now is very much based around being flexible, being personal, personalizing my coaching with every single client that I have. I certainly don't use a cookie cutter format. I like to be able to design each coaching experience specifically for what my client needs at the time, which is what I wish I had.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So taking a step back to corporate life, I guess the point before you found the coach, what was that moment of frustration for you? So that moment that you realized, look, this can't be it. I'm taking that next leap.
So for me, I realized I'd had 18 jobs in 20 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And I thought, there's got to be something. There's got to be a theme here or some kind of pattern.
Yep. It's not them, it's me.
It's not them, it's me. And I started to do some real thinking about that. And I'd sort of forced myself as a square peg into a round hole, multiple times. And I think the final straw for me was I was working around the clock. I was working on a particular pitch for the FIFA Women's World Cup. And it was a big piece of work, and, we really wanted to win this piece of work. And I had given up family time, worked on my days off, worked night times, worked weekends. And on this particular Friday, I was sitting at my desk, which would usually be my day off to spend with my then 2-year-old. And she sat next to me for the day trying to read herself books while I was working on this pitch. And I looked down and I just thought, this is not why I chose to have a daughter. This is not how I want to be spending my time. And that is such a vivid memory for me and something that I've really reflected a lot on in the choices that I've made since. Because what I have tried to create is a lifestyle and a career that enables me to be there more for my family.
Yeah, which you're achieving now, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And your husband's following your footsteps almost as well. Yeah. Which I love. What do you feel the learning was, or the message that you were telling yourself when you moved from full-time worker to entrepreneur? Like, there was that moment, but what was the belief shift, do you think, in creating that change for yourself?
I think the belief shift for me was around being willing to explore new avenues, and also knowing that I'm good at a whole bunch of stuff. I have a whole heap of transferable skills. There's got to be something more that I can offer this world. And for me, it took a lot of work to understand what that next thing would be. But I don't know where I was going with that.
Were there some failed attempts? Like, were there some other niches or audiences, or was it always a focus on women in careers and that career transformation?
It was always about women. It was always about that career transformation. And I think because I started with me and what I needed, and until I run out of, finding women who are in that same place that I was in, and I haven't run out yet. I'm finding more and more every day.
That's why we've got a podcast about freedom, right?
Correct. So, it's not to say that I wouldn't work with men, but for me, I find women have a real sensitivity around change and sometimes lack more confidence in backing themselves into something new.
And to be completely honest, I think that's one of the fantastic things about growing our own business is we get to choose who we work with.
Yes.
Right. So, we're similar in the fact that, Level Up Formula, the mentoring program that we run, we would predominantly say that there is probably more of a female audience of a particular brand and a particular personality that we love to work with, because that's just who we connect with. And it's not to say that we don't draw in amazing guys that are making impact and everybody else, but there is that avatar that you kind of lean towards.
Yeah.
Has that kind of supported you on your journey to have that really clear focus? Because I think for a lot of coaches that we talk to, or even trainers, consultants, that niche, that avatar can always be a bit of a conundrum. So just having that clear focus and direction, has that helped you progress?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was one of the first things that you guys helped me with, actually, to help me get really clear on who am I talking to, what problem do I solve, how can I be really direct with my marketing and my messaging and talk to that person when I'm on social media or writing an article and things like that. And that's a continued focus for me. And that's really helped just not try and be too many things to too many audiences as well.
And I will say, I think that's one of the things that I love about your social media and watching you is there's a real genuine integrity to what you put out there. And it could be because you're very clear on who you're talking to. But could you speak to that for a little bit? Like, I think the importance, whether you feel you're doing it or not, like the importance of not feeling like you've got to be that poster woman, you know what I mean? Like actually speaking true stories, real integrity, real questions, like where does that come from?
Yeah, I think, it took a lot to really start putting myself out there. I think I was in my own head about, what will people think, and we all have that imposter syndrome from time to time where we probably worry more about the people closest to us and what they will think. And when I realized that, love my friends and family dearly and want them to support me, but they're not my target audience. And when I started thinking about actually who is my target audience, who does need to hear my message and what I've got to say, that's who I'm talking to. So once I was able to get out of my head and just think about who I need to be targeting with my message and talking to and being clear on what they might need to hear and not worrying about what people think.
There's a real moment, like it's interesting when you started talking about, you're not selling to your family but they're the people that you kind of do worry about the most in terms of the judgment. Like I'm picturing, you took me back to Malaysia, my days on stage with Bugs Bunny and doing, Warner Brothers stuff as a performer. I was totally fine singing and dancing in front of audiences of thousands of people.
Yeah.
But get me into a small, intimate room with 3 or 4 people, or even when someone would say, hey, Jim, can you sing for us? And I couldn't do it. So do you feel there's that sort of thing, like working with a big audience is and sharing that message is supporting you to grow? Is that part of it? Yeah.
Maybe. I think too, I don't ever think it anymore.
Yeah.
And I tend to go with better done than perfect.
Yeah.
Which was my husband's quote, by the way.
Nice. Nice.
And I think for me, I've not tried to be something.
Yeah.
I've just tried to talk to, what I'm actually thinking, and people will love it, people will hate it. That's fine. And I don't think about the fact that there might be a small, medium, large audience listening or reading what I'm putting out there.
Yeah, and it's why we really enjoy what we do, right? Because it's genuinely, authentically being yourself. And if people love it, they come along for the ride. If they don't, they're not your person.
Yeah. And there's plenty of other people out there that they'll find to connect with if it's not me.
True.
So that's cool.
Very true. So let's explore a little bit more what you're working on now. Mm-hmm. So what does your business engine look like in terms of how you're impacting these women and what you're doing? Yeah,
great. So at the moment, I've got a few different offerings, which I'm really enjoying growing all of them.
Mm.
So my one-on-one coaching, as I mentioned, is very, very personalized. It's very much based around working with women to identify what's missing for them at the moment, where do they ideally like to be, and supporting them with the tools and strategies on how to get there.
Mm.
I'm also growing my group coaching, which for me it's really about fostering that community and that sense of connection that we know we get when we bring like-minded people together.
Yep.
And that really is something that will enable me to work with more women, which I'm loving.
Mm.
And then the third piece is really around executive level training. So at the moment, there's a huge shift for women to be able to be given opportunities at work. And one of my great passions is gender equity.
Yep.
So at the moment, there's a huge shift for lots of organisations to be better developing the talent that they have, to retain great female talent and to be able to promote from within rather than have to hire externally.
So important.
So I'm working on some fantastic leadership training at the moment that will really help enable that middle management to be better prepared to be promoted, more confident when they step into leadership roles. And from an organisational point of view, it'll really enable money saving because they won't have to be recruiting all the time. They'll have great talent from within that they can promote and continue to develop.
So exciting. As someone that's experienced that myself, like even as a man, that kind of external person coming in because they're a friend of the boss or whatever it is, I think that internal support and growth, especially for women in that space is fantastic. So exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Nice. What's been the most challenging? So you've been on a ride.
Yep.
We always talk about business being like a roller coaster.
Yep.
What do you feel has been probably one of your your lowest points, your most challenging points on this journey?
Oh, such a good question. I think the lowest point has been feeling the juggle, the struggle of the juggle and trying to wear multiple hats at once, which I know lots of business owners do. Blending, I was working part-time until recently as well as running my business as well as, family commitments. And when that was feeling like I was spreading myself too thinly once again, that was tough. But the flip side of that was that's probably what pushed me to go all in on my business and enable me to be fully focused and put all my energy into what I love.
Yeah.
So the freedom that came after that was really...
It's like a speed hump,
something
right?
Else.
Yeah. And I think it's why people say, so many businesses fail within their first year because people just aren't willing to kind of juggle, like you've said, juggle that schedule, juggle those commitments, try and earn an income while building something, it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But 3-6 months of hard work for a lifetime of balance and freedom and success.
Yes.
Worth it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I've been able to be more deliberate with how I'm spending my time.
Yeah.
So I sort of compartmentalize my week so that I don't get stuck in just doing the shiny, fun things that I love. I actually do the business development as well. I actually do the content. I actually do the strategy and planning. And, I make sure that I've got time for all the stuff that has to be done, not just the fun stuff.
And what's felt like a big win for you? So I think when we do go through those challenging moments, it probably creates some of the biggest wins personally and professionally. Mm-hmm. We've spoken about challenges. What would you say has been one of your biggest wins or impacts in your business?
I think personally, I do a lot of work on LinkedIn, I love being able to share content on LinkedIn and stories and things like that. And I was invited to be part of the LinkedIn Top Voice group, which
awesome.
was exciting because it meant that someone out there is listening to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. But from a client perspective, I've seen some really amazing transformations.
Yeah.
And one client in particular, when I started working with her, she was really lacking confidence. She'd spent some time, fully looking after her kids and was really ready to go back to work. And so we did a lot of work with her confidence and her strategy on how she was going to land the job that she wanted. And it wasn't just any old job. It was a particular company. It was a particular role. And she landed it, which was great.
Nice.
And then within the first month, she was asked to speak at a conference.
Yeah, cool.
Terrified her.
Yep.
Once again, the work that we did, we built her confidence. We used some NLP strategies to really remove those limiting beliefs, and she nailed it.
Yeah, cool.
And getting that phone call after she'd been on stage to tell me how great she went and how proud she was of herself, it gave me such a buzz. It still gives me a buzz.
I can tell. How do you connect with that? So I know, whether they're coaches, trainers, consultants, a lot of people speak about how the first niche they want to go into is something that obviously connects with them. How have you gone balancing emotion when you've had those connections with people in terms of, maybe it's something that brings up something for you from your past or something like that? Like, how do you handle that? Because I think it's a great strategy that any business owner needs to understand. Yeah.
So if I'm going into a coaching engagement, I'm really, if I'm feeling a bit flat that day or if I'm feeling a bit exhausted, sometimes I'll put some music on and try and change my own state first so that I'm in the right headspace that I need to be. And that enables me to not distance myself from what's going on, but to just be ready for what we're going to go through in the next hour or so. It also, there's moments when I'm with my clients and the emotions are flowing, right?
Yeah.
And I've had probably 80% of my clients crying at one point.
Not that we want them to do that. No. It's not the point. Yeah.
It sort of shows that there's a real level of trust there.
And emotional shedding as well.
Yeah. And that's something that's not surprising to them. It's not surprising to me. We move on. And I think because I've been through so much of those challenges that my clients have been through, it's obviously different for everybody, but it gives me a space to be able to support them.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned NLP and that sort of thing. What's one tool that you could share with listeners that's either changed your direction or changed your client's direction? Like what's something that you could give them to use in this moment of change?
Yeah, we do a lot of work around removing limiting beliefs.
Yep.
And without being too technical, it's a very simple process that enables the client to create more helpful beliefs and new neural pathways.
Yep.
I might say that again. So it's a really simple technique that enables more helpful beliefs to be created so that the work that the client is doing, it's building their confidence rather than reusing old patterns or reusing old thoughts that might be keeping them stuck. So we've also used a lot of hypnotherapy in some of the work that I've done as well, which enables to really embed the new beliefs that we're working together on. So it's another confidence building strategy.
Yeah, cool. For you on this journey, so, finding some success, but obviously continuing to grow, what does real freedom look like for you? So you've obviously brought up family, young kids, partners obviously important to you. What are you building for yourself?
I think, freedom is exactly what I'm building and flexibility. So the measure of success for me early on in my business was being able to walk my child to school.
Yeah.
and I'm able to do that now. All the jobs I've had before would not have been able to do that.
Yeah.
But in terms of looking into the future, I think, being able to design my week and my working schedule the way that I want.
Yep.
At the moment, I'm only working school hours.
Mm.
So down the track, as my kids get older, I want to be able to continue to be there for them, but also to be able to design the week the way that I want. So if I'm running a leadership coaching day, that's cool. There's ways that we can make it work, but I'm not sort of chained to the 9 to 5 anymore and beyond.
And how is that impacting your energy?
Oh, my well-being is so much better. My mental health is better. My energy. My husband often says, I can see how passionate you are about what you do.
Yeah. And
he's really noticed how much I'm getting energy from what I'm doing because I love it so much.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing.
What's he doing? Because there's some pretty exciting things happening.
Yeah,
that have sort of been inspired from both sides. What's going on?
Yeah, he's got some passion projects as well that he's really leaning into, and we're working together on those, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun being able to share learnings together and problem solve together and understand, what does your business need right now? What does my business need right now? And how can we support each other? So,
yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Nice. Before we wrap up, we'll do some rapid fire.
Okay.
Just some things that I think it's important for everybody to want to tap into, especially from someone that's succeeding in taking this leap into entrepreneurship.
Yep.
What's one belief that's holding most entrepreneurs back?
That they're not ready.
Okay. Tell me more, because I love that.
Because they'll never be ready.
Yeah.
And if we wait until the perfect time, with the perfect amount of skills, confidence, support, whatever it is, there's no such thing as a perfect time. You just got to get in there and get it.
Love it.
Try.
Awesome.
Just try.
Just try, fail, learn, start again.
Yep.
One strategy or tool that you use that you'd never go without again?
A strategy? Oh, preparation.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be... What's that phrase? You can never be overdressed or underprepared. No, overprepared.
Either work, but yeah.
Preparation is just key for everything. It doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one coaching session or a leadership training day or a podcast. Like you've got to do your research. You've got to be prepared. Winging it doesn't get you to the top.
Yeah. One myth about freedom-based business that you wish we would all stop believing?
That you have to do it on your own. Like, bringing the right people along for the ride is absolutely the fastest way to get where you want to be.
Yeah, it's interesting because we kind of almost let it go get in our way, or at least I know I did.
Yeah.
When we stepped into that, hey, I've got to do it on my own. I don't want to fail. If I ask for help, that's me failing as a business owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there really shouldn't be a thing. A solopreneur shouldn't be a thing, right?
I like that, yeah.
Because really, if you're doing it completely on your own, it's taking too long.
It's burnout. You're probably going to be working more than you were when you're in your full-time job.
Yeah.
You might as well go back to that salary and the comfortableness of consistent, safe income and not worry about making an impact in the world.
But also too, thinking about scaling, and this might be getting slightly off track, but
no.
Being able to build your business in a way that can exist without you.
Love that. Yeah.
I think that's key.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially with AI systems, all stuff that we're all coming across now, it's becoming easier and easier to make that happen, which is cool.
And I remember last year, one of the things that you guys talked about on Mastermind was how can you make your business more sustainable in terms of, if God forbid you were hit by a bus tomorrow, who's got your passwords, who can keep things rolling, like all that kind of stuff. We've had some news in our family the last couple of weeks that has impacted someone close to me in that way.
Yeah.
And having business continuity is not something that they'd really thought about.
Yeah, right.
And I think there's, a lot of lessons to be learnt around making sure you got the right people around you and enabling business to go on if things happen. Yeah. And that was something that I learnt from you guys last year that I've thought about right from the start. Like, while I'm building this business, how can I make sure that I've got a way to step out of it if I need to? And
you
that
want the
my
legacy to
clients
continue,
can still get
right?
what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, totally.
That's a huge lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. What's one thing that you'd say to the version of yourself that's just starting out?
Be brave.
Mm.
Give it a go. You've got nothing to lose, and you'd rather not have regrets at the end of this life.
Love it. Meg, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
It's been fun.
It's been really fun.
Awesome.
Thanks
If
for having me.
people want to hear more, follow you, check you out, where can they go?
So newchaptercoaching.com.au is my website.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. You can get in touch with me directly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.